I'm late to the party once again. Vegas Pro 18 has just recently come out, but this time instead of being a year or so, it has been 3 weeks. So yeah, let's take a look at the new features, see what's been improved, see what's new, and see what's changed. From the main screen, you don't really have any new changes. Everything is the same as normal. You have your preview and stuff. All your templates and settings will be reset to normal. Now, the one improvement we're going to talk about first is if you go into the video effects tab, you'll notice it has a different screen now. So it is slightly being improved. Everything has been neatly organized into different tabs. Now let's talk about more of a major feature, and that is the motion tracking. This is something I've been looking forward to. First of all, you want to get yourself a clip so we can have to edit on. Now what you need to do is you need to go into the video effects tab, and then you want to scroll down to the one that will say motion tracker. If you wanted to, you can save this to your favorites, but you need to first of all go ahead and drag this into your video, and you'll notice it will give you this message right here. You can go ahead and click on the lines for more options, and then go down to motion tracking. And you'll notice now it has its own separate tab right here. And this is a dockable window. If you want to, you can drag this and hold control, snap it onto here, or you can have it open like so. Now I'm gonna remove this one and I'm gonna show you from start. What you need to do is you need to create a region. So this is the region which it will track, and you need to make sure you place it where you want it to be tracked. Now, keep your area a bit open. You don't want it to be too small, because the bigger the area, the easier it will be to track what it is that you are wanting. So for example, I want this building right here, and I'm going to give it this open area. Once you've got yourself the region 1, you can go ahead and select your precision. So you can have it on fast, balanced, or accurate. I'd recommend accurate. For the mode, this one, you have location, rotation, just like always. I'd recommend location because the perspective one is still being worked on and it is always being improved. It's still not the best. It can attempt to do what you want it to do, but it's just slightly off. But once you've selected yourself the location, you can then go ahead and tick show motion vectors if you wanted to see the vectors in action and how many it's plotted down. And then finally you have at the bottom the tracking options. So if you wanted to, you could track backwards, you could track backwards a frame, or you could track both directions. And then you have track forward and then track a frame forward. You'll have the motion tracker transfer. So if you wanted to transfer the motion tracking to another clip, you can use this option right here. And then finally the motion tracker transfer. Once you're happy with everything, you want to go ahead and make sure you are on the start line at the start of the clip, and then go ahead and click on the both directions. And then this will start to motion track your clip. So now that it's being tracked, you will see at the bottom, you'll have the stat. So it says successful, and then you'll have all the tracking that it has done in this green area. And now if we preview this, you'll see it has motion tracked the region. And then all you got to do after that is close this one down, get yourself a new video track, and then go all the way to the start. You then go ahead and get yourself an image, video, or text that you want, and then put it on the layer above. You need to make sure that you also give it a picture-in-picture in order for this to work. So if you scroll down and look for the picture-in-picture, which will be here, get yourself the default one. And then this is the part where you want to set the location, so where you want it to go. I want it on the building, so I'm going to place it right here, and then I'm going to close this one down. What you need to do next is you need to make sure you are selecting your layer. So select your video layer, go to the arrows or the lines, should I say, and then go to motion tracking, and then this will open up your region. Once you've got yourself the region 1, you then go ahead and click on the down arrow, and then you select the image and then the picture-in-picture. So what this will do is it will copy the keyframes over to your image. And if we close this one down and preview this, you'll see that it has been tracked onto the building. Let's move on to a new feature, and that is the AI. So what I mean by this is something that's never been added to Vegas Pro, and that is the colorization to black and white images or videos. it uses AI. It tells it where the colors are. So for example, if you have a video like this, where it's in black and white and it is quite an old clip, you can go ahead and go into the new tab, which is called the colorization right here. And then you just simply drag yourself the first one into your video. And then you have all these options right here. And straight away, you'll notice it will automatically guess what the colors are. And it has done a pretty good job on colorizing the black and white clip. You'll have the precision. So you'll have low, medium, high, and match input. Personally, I've not found much of an improvement if you change it to medium or high. So if you notice, high should actually be better, but low still is better than other two. There's not much difference there. So it's still being improved. That's why it is a very early feature. If you wanted to, you can shift between green and red. You can adjust the gain on the green and red or the blue and yellow and just play about with the sliders, see what works and see what's better for your clip. Another thing that's been added is the video style transfer, and this is a separate new video effects. So if you scroll down to the style transfer, you'll notice all of these new effects once it's loaded up. Here's the new transfers. You have some of these which are really cool. Along with the new video effects that we've also got some new transitions. And you'll notice there is a lot more 3D ones, and there is some very new ones that you've never seen before right at the bottom. These are the ones I've saved as favorites. Right, so let's move on to another new feature, and that is the flicker effect. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the flicker effect, which is called flicker control. And basically what this does is, let's say you've got a video like this where there's a light or anything in your video that is flickering. So for example, as you can see from this clip right here, I am filming the light, but it is flickering and it's also making the camera go really weird. So all you'll need to do is you drag this into your video and straight away you'll notice that the reduction has started and it's pretty much removed the flicker. But there is still some areas where you can see it slightly adjust and slightly flicker. And if you wanted to, you can increase this by going to the analysis window and then increasing this to a high number. But you also want to be careful with this, because if you reduce it or if you increase it too high, it can mess up your video. For example, if you take a look at this, it now looks more shaky and a bit more blurry. This side is the original and then this side is after. You can also do the opposite to this if you wanted to. So if you wanted to create flicker, then you would then close this one down and then you would get yourself a add flicker to your video. And this will make it give you the option for the flicker frequency. And then you have the sensitivity, the type, and you have the mask. Moving on to the next improvement, and that is the rendering. So the rendering has been improved. It is faster now, it is more efficient, and it is definitely better than before. I do really like it. They've improved the interface as well, so you can now see more options. And what I mean by this is I'll show you exactly what I mean. So if we get ourselves a clip, so for example this one, and just like always, you can either create a loop region. Let's put it on a best preview and then go to the render option. You still have every template as normal. So if I untick favorites, you have all your regular ones right here. You may need to activate them when you install the program. But then if we get ourselves the favorites, and we're going to use this template right here, we'll just call this a test and then go ahead and press render. It will be a bit slow at the moment because I am recording and rendering at the same time. But you can see you have the estimated properties, performance, and options. And yeah, it's pretty much done. So you can open folder, you can open the video itself, or just close it down. Another improvement that has been made is to the color grading. So just like normal, you would go down to the bottom right here or press Alt and G. You can now dock these windows, and to do that, all you got to do is press the pin/unpin, and now this will let you have it as a separate tab. If you wanted to go back to being docked, you just press this button again, and now it'll put it back into its original place. And if we go over to the option right here and set this one to waveform, and then go to input/output, we can move on to the next improvement, which is the exposure. Now, before, the exposure was working perfectly fine, it was working normal, but it wasn't as efficient as it is now with Vegas Pro 18. And what I mean by this is, now if you change the exposure, let's say we lower it to something much lower, before it gets to a completely flat line, you can get more out of your video and more out of your exposure. And same as if we increase the exposure, just before it gets really overexposed, we can still get more out of it. Another improvement that has been made is if you go back to the tab right here and go to RGB parity, you have your different RGBs right here. And before, you used to have them separate, but now if you wanted to, you can click on this button right here and then you can have them combined. So if you wanted to see both and see whereabouts they are, for example, if we look at this, the reds are higher than the green, and then the blue is right at the bottom. You can also click these buttons right here to preview each one. And this just makes it handy because you can see the overall result on your colors. Another improvement to the color grading is in the vector scope, you can now go into the settings, and then in here, you will have a skin tone line. And then this will allow you to change the angle of that line. So if you wanted to, you could set it to 180, let's say, for example, and then press OK, and then it will set it to that number. Next up, we have the denoise effect, and this is new to Vegas Pro 18, and it basically is a filter to remove any noise or grain that your video has. Now I'm going to go into favorites, and then it's called denoise right here. You can find in all the effects, but I've just saved mine into favorites. So as you can see from this video right here, we have quite a lot of grain and quite a lot of noise from the video. And if you drag yourself the default template into your video, you'll notice straight away it will reduce it slightly and seeing what works and looks good. Now, you don't want it to have it too soft because it will start to soften it up a lot more, and then that's when it becomes unclear. It looks like it's got a feather. You also have the sharpness, so if you want to increase the sharpness, and the very last feature, let's say you've got yourself your favorite Minecraft gameplay, you've recorded it, you're ready to edit it, and once you go ahead and adjust the settings to apply your template, let's say you're going to have it at 720p, you then go ahead and press OK or apply, and you notice that you have the black bars. And let's say you don't want this, you don't want the black bars, then you would use this new effect called black bar fill, and this will basically give you some templates to remove the black bars. Now you could fill these in, it won't remove them, but it will fill them in. So for example, what I mean by this is if you apply the scaled one, you'll notice that the main background is blurred and you have your video right here. Now this is a pretty cool effect. You can change the scale if you wanted to, so change the background scale, zoom it in a lot more. You can change the blur, so if you want it really blurry or just slightly blurred. You can also change the shadow on the video, and then of course the scale. But if you wanted to actually remove the black bars, then what you could do is you can go into the event/crop, and in here you set this one to 16:9 TV aspect ratio, and there you go. That has removed the black lines. And that's pretty much it. That is most of the new features and improvements to Vegas Pro 18. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and let me know what you thought of the video. And yeah, I will see you all in my next video. Bye.